ओके करू का इथं लाईव्ह स्ट्रीमिंग?
या
ओके.
हरी बोल.
हरे कृष्ण. करू का चालू?
स्टार्ट.
ओके करू का इथं
येस.
लाईव्ह स्ट्रीमिंग?
या
ओके.
हरी बोल.
हरे कृष्ण. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone for Friday evening Bhagavad Gita class. For the pleasure of their lordship, we will sing Jai Radha Madhav. Jaya Radha Madhav, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhav, Jaya Kunja Bihari. जय गोपीजनवल्लभ, जय गिरिवरधारी, जय गिरिवरधारी, जय यशोदानन्दन, जय व्रजजनरञ्जन, जय यशोदानन्दन, जय व्रजजनरञ्जन, जय यमुनातिरवनचारी, जय कुञ्जविहारी, जय यमुनातिरवनचारी, जय कुञ्जविहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुञ्जविहारी, जय राधा माधव, जय कुञ्जविहारी. हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ श्री राधे, जय लड्डू गोपाल, जय लड्डू गोपाल, जय लड्डू गोपाल, जय लड्डू गोपाल, निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, निताय गौर हरि बोल, जय जय प्रभुपाद, प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय गुरुदेव, गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव, जय श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय. So we will start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोकैर्भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Bhagavad Gita Chapter 5, Karma Yoga. Action in Krishna consciousness. Verse number 7. Yoga Yukta Vishuddhatma Vijitatma Jitendriyaha Sarvabhutatma Bhutatma Kurvan api na lipyate. Hare Krishna. Can I ask one Prabhuji and one Mataji recite the verse, please?
योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजेत आत्मा जितेन्द्रिया सर्वभूतात्म भूतात्मा कुर्वान् अपि न लिप्यते.
योग युक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियः सर्वभूतात् भूतात्मा कुर्वान्नपि न लिप्यते. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you, Prabhuji, and thank you, Mataji. Synonyms: Yoga Yukta, engage in devotional service. Vishuddha Atma, a purified soul. Vijita Atma, self control. Jita Indriya, having conquered the senses. Sarvabhuta, all to all living entities. Atma Bhuta Atma, compassionate. Kurvanapi, although engaged in work. Na, never. Lipyate is entangled. Translation by His Loving Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. Purport: one who is on the path of liberation by Krishna consciousness is very dear to every living being, and every living being is dear to him. This is due to his Krishna consciousness. Such a person cannot think of any living beings as separate from Krishna. Just as the leaves and branches of a tree are not separate from the tree, he knows very well that by pouring water on the root of the tree, the water will distribute it to all the leaves and branches. Or by supplying food to the stomach, the energy is automatically distributed throughout the body. Because one who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all. He is very dear to everyone, and because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness. Because he is pure in consciousness, his mind is completely controlled. And because his mind is controlled, his senses are also controlled because his mind is always fixed on Krishna. There is no chance of being deviated from Krishna, nor there a chance that he will engage his senses in matter other than the service of the Lord. He does not like to hear anything except topics relating to Krishna. He does not like to eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. And he does not wish to go anywhere if Krishna is not involved. Therefore, his senses are controlled. A man of controlled senses cannot be offensive to anyone. One may ask why then was Arjuna offensive in battle to others? Wasn't he in Krishna consciousness? Arjuna was only superficially offensive because, as has already been explained in the second chapter, all the assembled persons on the battlefield would continue to live individually, as the soul cannot be slain. So, spiritually, no one was killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Only their dresses were changed by the order of Krishna, who was personally present. Therefore, Arjuna, while fighting on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, was not really fighting at all. He was simply carrying out the order of Krishna in full Krishna consciousness. Such a person is never entangled in the reactions of work. Bhaktivedanta Purport ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now we will do Mangalachara. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखावितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हुतेर्महद्भिः मा पुरो विभु निमाय शेते यद्मुषपुरुषा पुङ्क्ते गुणांशु दशशोदशात्मका सोऽलङ्कशिष्टान् भगवान् वचांसि मे श्रीकृष्ण शरणागतं कथामृतं सततपिबतं भक्तिवेदान्तमार्गपन्थनं सर्वलोकऋषिदेवजन्मप्रसन्नं सर्वलोकऋषिदेवजन्मप्रसन्नं Hare Krishna. So, today's verse is chapter 5, verse number 7. Yoga Yukto Vishu Udatma Vijayatma Jitendriya Sarvabhutatma Bhutatma Kurvanapi Nalipyate. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. So, start of the chapter, Arjuna asks question that which path is superior, renunciation of the work or working with detachment. Then from verse 2 to 6, Lord explained that renunciation and working in the spirit of renunciation are the same. But for Arjuna, working is better because premature renunciation is distressful. Now, from verse 7 to 12, Lord is explaining characteristics of Yoga Yukta, pure devotee. What are the characteristics? He never entangled in material activities. They are self-controlled. They does not take credit of his activities. Suppose they are working and they don't say, oh, I did this, or because of me this happened. Work for Krishna with detachment. They seek the purification, and after all they attain the peace. Now we will do. There are two kinds of renunciation: external sannyasa and the internal renunciation. In external sannyasa, giving up social duties, going to the forest, abandoning family, that is only just sometimes superficial. If the heart is still attached with the parents, kids, wife, that is not the external sannyasa. And the internal renunciation, that is yajna karma or yoga style, performing one's duties without attachment to result, offering work to Krishna. This is what Krishna's recommends. Now we will talk about performing duty without selfish desire. What Krishna teaches in here? Krishna teaches that action is unavoidable by our body acts. The wise person, what happened? He acts but not bound because the action is offered. Srila Prabhupada also tells convert all activities into service to Krishna. For example, whenever we do cooking prasada, we chant early in the morning, we do the preaching. In Vaman Kshetra, there are so many preachers. Then whatever work becomes bhakti, not a bondage. Srila Prabhupada always often stresses upon what? What is that? Krishna, keep Krishna in the center of attraction. Then attachments becomes attachment shifts to sense enjoyment, to Krishna's service. Now, how we can apply this to our daily routine life? Householders, for example, whatever we do for Krishna's offerings. Whenever we go for work, we have to give some money for the donations. Now in the Vaman Kshetra, everyone is donating for Shri Radha Gopinath temple rebuild. And now what they says in Ghanshyam Prabhuji's class, I always hear, do your best and leave the rest to Krishna. And now what happened to devotees? If you take the example from devotees go to the temple, do the services, make the prasadam. Radharaman Prabhuji, Radha Priya Mataji, every Friday they goes to the temple and do the prasadam for Radha Gopinath. And then cooking, outside also they cooking. And then cleaning, that is all going into the mood of love and devotion. Now, in the preaching angle, teach the people what is the bhakti. Bhakti doesn't mean that you have to leave everything, whatever you have responsibility, family, and within the family you have to do, but keep the Krishna in the center. And whatever your donations and activities, you have to keep Krishna in center, and then that sense enjoyment becomes to the devotional service. And when completely we surrender unto lotus feet of Krishna, then that devotee's nature automatically changes. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 18.12, Yasyasti bhakti vargatya kinchana sarvair tatra samasate sura harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguruna manorathena sati dhavato bahi. All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in their body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Now, there are two kinds of jivas, Nitya Baddha and Nitya Mukta. In Nitya Baddha, what happens? Eternally conditioned souls. For example, we are all living entities. We are all Nityabaddas. And Nitya Mukta means eternally liberated souls. For example, Nanda Baba, Yashoda Maya, and Vrajavasis. They are all Nitya Muktas. Nitya Mukta jivas have devotion based on spontaneous actions to Krishna's and attraction. That is called Raganuga Bhakti. That is all natural love for Krishna. But Nitya Bhakta, like us, Jivas, they have to engage in sadhana bhakti. In that is engage in 9 processes of bhakti: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Vadanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, and Atmanivedam. What is the Shravanam? Shravanam means hearing the transcendental holy name, form, and qualities of Krishna. Listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. Now everybody is listening. That is also Shravanam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Sunday morning we have the Srimad Bhagavatam classes. And the Kirtan and the classes. That will what happen? That will purify heart immediately. Now the second one is Kirtanam, chanting the holy name. Everybody is doing the chanting, 16 rounds early in the morning. That is also Kirtanam. And singing the bhajans and preaching the Krishna's glories. Now the third one is Smaranam. Remember Krishna whole day. Whatever you do the activities, you have to remember Krishna and do the activities. For example, you go to work, you are cooking, Matajis are cooking, looking after the kids, but still we have to remember Krishna. Archanam, that is deity worships. we have to do the offering, artis, bhoga offering, and flowers and waters. Vandanam. Vandanam means what are the prayers that we do, singing the Tulsi Arti and Mangala Arti, then all the personal prayers. Dasyam. Dasyam means serving. We all go to the temple and do the services. We clean the temple, cooking services, and helping to the preaching. Sakyam. Sakyam means friendship. For example, Arjuna is Sakyam. He is a friend of Krishna, sharing heart with Krishna and depending on fully to Krishna. And the last one is Atma Nivedam, that is full surrender. Full surrender means accepting Krishna as the only shelter, nothing else. In our sampradaya, there is one acharya who is perfect example for this. Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma Vijitatma Jitendriya. That is, you all knows Haridas Thakur, the crest jewel of the holy name. Haridas Thakur, everyone knows the story, but I will tell you briefly. Haridas Thakur, he was Muslim. He born in a Muslim family, but yet his name become very famous like a as a Namacharya Haridas. He chanted 300,000. That means 192 rounds of japa. We do the every day 16, but he does 192 japas. One day, what happened? Maya Devi, she was herself thought that if Haridas Thakur is very pure, let me test his determination. And she became disguised as a beautiful woman, a young woman. She dressed so nicely, attractively. She was speaking sweetly words, and she requested Haridas Thakur, please accept me. And she, of course, she promised that she will stay with him forever. And she sat nearby waiting for him. For an ordinary man or person, this is irresistible. But Haridas Thakur remained peaceful, humble, and respectful. And then he said, please sit. I must complete my chanting. When I finish my chanting rounds, then I will consider your request. He did not say no, but he told her that let me finish my rounds. And the Maya Devi waited the entire night, but Haridas Thakur didn't stop his chanting. Not at once he looked at her, and not for a second he didn't move from his place, and he was just chanting whole night. The next day, same thing. The morning she went away. Again, the next night she come, and what happened? Same thing happened. The third night, same thing happened. Finally, Mayadevi gave up and revealed her true form. And bowing before him, she said that, please give me your devotion is no, your devotion is greater than the power of illusion itself. She begged him, please bless me that I can chant the holy name without offense. Haridas taught Haridas Thakur taught her the proper way of chanting, and even Maya Devi became a disciple of Haridas Thakur. Now, this another pastime of the Haridas Thakur is the story of unshakable faith. He has a firm faith in chanting and the pure chanting and the divine protection. What happened? He is doing 300,000 times names of Lord Krishna every day, and his purity and the fame spread everywhere. Everybody knows that he is doing chanting whole day and night, and many people they knows. But for the envious people and the leaders, they felt threatened. Then what happened? They have the one secret group plan against Haridas Thakur. The local Muslim Qazi, what he do? The government officials became jealous and they said, oh, he is born in Muslim, but he chants Hindu's name. He is influencing our people. We must punish him. They brought him before the Nawab and accused him of abandoning his religion. Then Haridas Thakur replied peacefully, the holy name is Lord's, but it is not. It is the religion for everyone, and I chant because it gives me pleasure or love for God. The authorities become furious and ordered, beat him in the 22 marketplaces until he dies. Haridas Thakur was tied up and dragged through the streets. At each marketplace, the soldiers weep whimsically and mercilessly. But Haridas Thakur remained calm and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then the soldiers were shocked, and Haridas did not fall unconscious either, did not shout in pain, and his face remained peaceful. After many marketplaces, the soldiers panicked and they told, because the soldiers were instructed that kill him when you beat him, then after 22 marketplaces he has beaten, then he must be killed. But he didn't do anything and he didn't cry or pain. Then they requested to Haridas, please die. If you don't die, the Nawab will kill us. Then he ordered us to kill you. Then Haridas, as a devotee, he becomes compassionate and replied to them that if my death will save you, then I will give up my life. And this shows the Vaishnava compassion. And he was beaten, yet he was worried about the soldiers. Nowadays, nobody worried about if somebody just touched, then we will think, oh, what can I do for them? Haridas closed his eyes and entered in a trance, and he appeared lifeless. That means unconscious, and then the soldiers think that he is dead, and then they take his body and put into the Ganges river. And then, but what happened? Lord Chaitanya had personally protected him. Later, Haridas Thakur, when he awake on the river bank, he offered prayers to Lord. Oh Lord, I could not feel any suffering, I could not feel any pain. You took all the blows on your own body. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu later shows his back to his devotees. Those same marks, weeping marks, were on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body. Then proved this is all proved that Lord accept all pain given to his devotees. Now we know this story we'll learn, and this is the pastimes what teaches us. It's a unshakable faith. Haridas did not stop chanting under even under torture, and they were beating so much. And this is what happened. Devotees are protected. The Lord personally takes the suffering of his devotees. As same thing happened in Prahlad Maharaj also. We all know. And compassion. When Haridas, no, the all the people they told Haridas Thakur, you have to die. That means Haridas being beaten, but still he was caring about the soldiers and their welfare. And the another fourth one is name is all powerful. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, whenever we take, that will that will tolerate and gives us the strength of unimaginable pain. And the last one is Vaishnava humility. Whatever happened, he just think it's God's mercy. He did not blame to anyone that, and he didn't become proud that I survive and I am chanting and Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu save us. Namacharya Shila Hridas Thakur ki jai. Now we will recite the next verse. Verse number 8 and 9. नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तमन्येन तत्त्ववित् पश्यान् शृण्वान् पृशान् जिघ्रम् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् स्वपशन्. Can anyone, Mataji's and Prabhuji's read? We go one by one.
नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्ता मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् स्वशन्.
नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् क्षणभस्पृशञ्जिघ्रन् सङ्गच्छन् स्वपशंसनन्.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णान् उन्मिषन् निमिषन् अपि इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन्. Can anyone read?
प्रलपन् विसर्जन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन्.
Thank you.
प्रलापन् विसृजन् ग्रहणम् उन्मिषं निमिषन् अपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन्.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, and thank you, Prabhuji. Synonyms, word to word. Na, never. Eva, certainly. Kinchit, anything. Karomi, I do. Iti, thus. Yukta, engage in the divine. Consciousness, manyet, thinks. Tattvavid, one who knows the truth. Pashan, seeing. Shrinvan, hearing. Sparshan, touching. Jigram, smelling. Ashanam, eating. Gachan, going. Swapman, dreaming. Shwasan, breathing. Pralapan, talking. Visarjan, giving up. Grinan, accepting. Unmission, opening. Nimission, closing. Api, in spite of. Indriyani, the senses. Indriyartheshu, in sense gratification. Vartante, let them be so engaged. Iti, thus. Dharayan, considering. Translation by His loving grace is Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A person in the divine consciousness, although engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping, and breathing, always knows within himself that he actually does nothing at all. Because while speaking, evacuating, receiving, or opening or closing his eyes, he always knows that only the material senses are engaged with their objects and that he is aloof from them. Purport. A person in Krishna consciousness is pure in his existence and consequently he has nothing to do with any work which depends upon five immediate and remote causes: the doer, the work, the situation, the endeavor, and fortune. This is because he is engaged in the loving transcendental service of Krishna, although he appears to be acting with his body and senses. He is always conscious of his actual position, which is spiritual engagement. In the material consciousness, the senses are engaged in sense gratification. But in Krishna consciousness, the senses are engaged in the satisfaction of Krishna's senses. Therefore, the Krishna conscious person is always free, even though he appears to be engaged in affairs of the senses. Activities such as seeing and hearing are actions of the senses, meant for receiving knowledge. Whereas moving, speaking, evacuating, etc., are actions of the senses, meant for work. A Krishna conscious person is never affected by the actions of the senses. He cannot perform any act except in the service of the Lord because he knows that he is the eternal servitor of the Lord. Bhaktivedanta Purport ki jai. Now, first we will understand what is consciousness means and how many types there are. Now, the first is Baddha Chetana, means material consciousness. This is the consciousness of conditional souls, Nitya Baddha, who identifies with the body and mind And what are the characteristics? The characteristics of Baddha Chetna is I am this body, and the self-centered means I, me, mine. Self-control, three modes of material nature: mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and mode of goodness. All these are driven by desire, fear, anger, lust, and greed. And what happened? We experience sufferings and repeated birth and death. Punarapi jananam, puranapi maranam. For example, I must enjoy this world. I come to here, this is my money, and I am going to enjoy whatever I want. I am Indian, I am a female body, I am wealthy, etc. Now the second, what is the second? Second is Shuddha Chetana. Shuddha Chetana means pure spiritual consciousness. That is the natural state of our soul. And liberated means Nitya Mukta. What are the characteristics? Characteristics: I am the eternal servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarupa Hai Krishnera Nityadas. That means I am the eternal servant of Krishna. And we love, full of love, compassion, and humility, and free from material desires. There are desires, but we connect to the Krishna consciousness and constantly remembering of Krishna. We just smaran, we whatever activities we do, we keep Krishna in the center, and that all is Satchitananda. That means that we experience like eternal knowledge and the bliss. Now the third one is covered consciousness. That means avarna chetana. This consciousness is that pure originally, and but now covered by the material modes. Like mirror is covered by the dust. What are the causes? Because why? What happened? They have the lust, ignorance, envy of the God. Because why they other people are getting and why I don't get? I am doing the same thing, but I don't get anything. That's what they envy, and then they are attachment to matter. Then what happened? The effects of these all things, the soul forgets its real identity. And now the fourth one consciousness is called Udayatma Chetana. The name is Udayatma. Udaya means developing consciousness. We say Suryodaya ho gaya. That is the Udayatma Chetana. This is when what happened awakens to due to sadhu sangha and bhakti characteristics. Like we have the sadhu sangha. We go to the temple. We attend the Mangalarti. We have the devotee care. We have the Bhagavad Gita classes like these. Those are the sadhu sanghas. And the characteristics are, what are those? Interest in spiritual topics. We have the same interest in the same topics. And when we do the Harinam, that is the taste for chanting. Other people's also listening, and we are also doing the chanting. And then another one, desire to hear Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. When we come to Sydney, that time we go to Bhagavad Gita classes. First time we don't understand that much, but still we have that desire. Yes, I want to go. After nearly, for me, after 6 months, I understand, yes, devotional service and this and that. But when we moved to Glenfield and Viraj Prabhuji started Bhagavatam classes, he take our Bhagavatam canto first, verse first, chapter first and verse first. He take nearly 5 weeks, and then now in Glenfield Vamashetra, everybody knows those first 3 verses. That is the desire to hear. Here we have that desire, and now the last one is the struggle between material and the spiritual influences. This is the stage of most sadhakas. We just compare, oh, material things and the spiritually. How can we grow in a spiritual way? The fifth consciousness is called Krishna Chetana, Krishna consciousness. The highest stage of consciousness is achieved by the Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, Krishna says in this chapter 8 and 9, what we are doing, these verses. What are the symptoms for that? Acts without ego, sees himself not as a doer. They think, oh, Krishna is making us to do this all. And they engage their all senses in Krishna's service. Whenever they work, they say, oh, whatever I work, I will give some money for donation. Mataji's cook at home prasadam. Oh, this is the prasadam will be offered to Krishna, and then we will honor Mahaprasadam. They and then they steady in honor and dishonor. Whatever happen, if somebody get angry or uh, they says oh good words for you, but they stay steady. They don't show up, and they stay internally peaceful. They are very peaceful. But what happened? Ultimate identity. I am Krishna's servant, meant to please him. Now the seventh consciousness is expanded consciousness, Jiva Chetana. Jiva Chetana means becoming aware of more than just one's personal need. For example, serving family selflessly. Sometimes what happen? We serve our kids. What for? When we serve kids and when we grow them nicely, when I get old, they will look after for me, but not like that. They will be selflessly and helping others. Whatever situation happen, we have to help the others. And the charity. Now in the Vaman Chetra, we are going to give, already gave, everyone is giving the charity, that means donations to Shri Radha Gopinath temple. This is the good, but what happened within the material consciousness? This is all in material consciousness. Now the eighth one, the God consciousness, that means Brahma Chetana, Athato Brahma Jignasa. What happened? We are learning Bhagavatam in there and Bhagavad Gita. Who am I? I am the spirit soul, and everything belongs to Krishna. And God is the ultimate enjoyer. We are not doing whatever Krishna says, we are doing the same thing. This is the philosophical awareness. But bhakti takes us beyond this personal devotion. That's why Srila Prabhupada always stress upon the bhakti. The ninth one is divine love consciousness, that is prema chetana. What are the characteristics? This is the topmost consciousness of liberated souls. For example, you all know the Prahlad Maharaj, Gopis, Nanda Maharaj, and Haridas Thakur. Just now we had the pastimes of Haridas Thakur. And what are the characteristics of these devotees? They see Krishna everywhere. For example, when Prahlad Maharaj thrown away from the big cliff, top mountain, and then Lord Vishnu lift him, and Lord Vishnu asked him, and then he said, I want to see everywhere your form. And then Lord Vishnu said, Tatastu. But when he was conscious and when he looked everywhere, in the trees, in the mountain, in the human being, the animals, he see everywhere Vishnu as a Paramatma. And they are completely free from selfishness. They are not selfish, and they motivated by love. Sorry. And they are fully surrendered. That means Prahlad Maharaj has full faith in Vishnu, that whatever happen, Vishnu is going to save me. And that is there. And this is all what we need. And this is our goal of human life. Now we have already discussed about Nitya Baddha and Nitya Siddha. By engaging in the loving devotional service is Baddha. Jiva can come to the platform of Vishuddha Sattva. So, in this verse, the inner mindset of a realized soul has been explained. What is that? The devotee never thinks he is the doer. Srila Prabhupada always stress that I am not doing, but Krishna wants me to do like that. Everything happen is by materials, and material is nature's law. Nature's law, everything happen, and this body conditional tendency is or their karma. Whatever we do, we suffer, and that Krishna's sanction in every action. Whatever Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam it says that even if blade of grass is not moving without sanction of Krishna. And what about us? The devotee simply acts as an instrument in the hand of Krishna. Prabhupada often says that a devotee thinks, I am not the enjoyer, I am not the controller, I am only the servant of Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita 18.61 also it says, Ishvara sarvabhutanam hridayeshu arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantrarudhani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wandering of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. Now, you all know body is working like a machine. Krishna already said in Bhagavad Gita 18.61 that the soul is seated in the body. The body is like a machine. The, the soul is carried by material nature. Prabhupada gives the example that the driver is the soul and the car is the body. But when the car moves, the driver does not think that I am moving. The machine moves, not a person. Similarly, the body is doing everything. I, the soul, and I am simply witnessing. In verse number 5.8, Krishna uses the phrase Yukta, Yukta Krishna Karmakrit, perfectly engaged in devotion. Only one who practices bhakti sincerely can think like this. But why? Because devotion purifies the intelligence. Whenever we do some devotional activities, we get some knowledge. That is the intelligence. Impure intelligence thinks that I am the enjoyer, but the pure intelligence thinks that I am Krishna's servant. Now we will talk about the senses and how they are automatically engaged. In verse number 5.9, we know the bodily activities and the purpose and how it shows. Even during all material activities, a devotee remains spiritually situated. This is the beauty of Bhakti Yoga. Whenever we go to work, we always pray. We always pray before going to work. We traveling, we chant. Mataji's make prasadam, and they should also listen to the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam classes. While cleaning, you can chant. While studying, studying also you can remember Krishna. I am doing the study. When I get the good marks, I get the good job, and then I will serve you nicely. I can donate some monies. And now raising the children and still remain spiritually fixed. If you act for Krishna, at home, what we do? We are cooking. This is Krishna's prasadam, and I am going to offer. And I am not the doer, or I am not a enjoyer. While raising the children, what we think? These children belong to Krishna. They are not my children, but I am the only caretaker. Now everybody has a difficult situation. What happened during difficulties? What we think? If someone insults you or remember you, we think that the body is being insulted, not the soul. This saves us from the anger and ego. Otherwise, what happens if somebody says some wrong words? We think, oh, we get angry quickly. While chanting, chant and remember. we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly. Then we think that Krishna, I am yours. This body is yours. My senses belongs to you. And this humility brings steady chanting. Now we will, I will tell the one small pastime of Srila Prabhupada, doer. One disciple one day come to Srila Prabhupada and tell, Prabhupada, you have done something wonderful, but you have spread Krishna consciousness all over to the world. Prabhupada immediately said, I have not done anything. I am simply trying to follow the order of my spiritual master, Guru Maharaj. This is exactly uh, in Bhagavad Gita, these verses 8 and 9 in action. Srila Prabhupada showed with his example. He has no pride that I have given Krishna consciousness to the all world. He has no ego and he is fully surrendered soul and he is full dependence on Krishna consciousness. Now I will tell you the pastime of Janak Maharaj, small one. Janak Maharaj is also called as Vidharaj. Once two Brahmanas come to Janak Maharaj and ask, people gave you the name of Vidharaj. How it happened? Because who Vidharaj means what? Who is above the bodily conception of life. But you are enjoying everything, good clothing, loyal food, best food, ornaments, everything. Janak Maharaj become little angry, and then what he do? He put those two Brahmanas in a jail and gave them punishment, the penalty that tomorrow they will hang out. But what happened? In the jail, he provide all the facilities, whatever he has. Give him them delicious for food, royal clothing, and all facilities. And the next morning, they came in front of Janak Maharaj, and he said, both of them, that I will make you free, but you have to do one thing for me. They said, okay, what do you want us to do? And then Janak Maharaj gave two bowls in their hands with the full of oil unto its grim, that means unto neck to neck, and said, if you take these two bowls full of oil and go for Nagar Pradikshina. And if you do not drop any single drop on the ground, then I will spare your life. I am not going to hang you. Then these two Brahmanas went with the pot and they did the Nagar Pradakshina. And then there was celebration going on. The music was here. People was enjoying the music. There were food stalls, shopping. Everywhere was like a mela. And then they return back without dropping the oil. And they have some soldiers. And Janak Maharaj asked those soldiers, did they drop? And they said no. Then he said, okay, now I don't hang you. And then Janak Maharaj asked, well, yesterday I gave you nice clothing, food. Did you enjoy it? They said, no, my lord. How can we enjoy? We know that comfort that was above our head. Then Janak Maharaj asked, okay, now tell me, while holding the oil bowls and doing the Nagar Pradakshina, did you distracted by any celebration or did you in your mind come the all the attractions? Then they said, no, how can we it possible? Because we have been told that don't drop any oil drops on the ground. Otherwise, our death is sure. Then Janak Maharaj said, this is Janak Maharaj little bit laughed and told them, same thing is happening with me. You see, I am in the midst of the all allurement, but my mind is always remembering of lotus feet of Krishna. I am always think that I am the servant of Krishna and he is appointed me to serve you all people. I never think that this is mine. I am attached with anything. Those Brahmanas realized their mistake and they asked for forgiveness. So we can see that Janak Maharaj is fully engaged in devotional service and aloof from material allurement. Even he is engaged in all material activities. He is doing all his activities as a king. He uses all his senses in the service of Lord. This is a great example of one. There is one in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, chapter 4, 18 to 20. Ambarish Maharaj verse, everyone knows. Save mana Krishna padarvindayo varchansi vachansi vaikunta gunanuvarnane karo harer mandiramarshanasduishu shrutim chakarachyut सत्कथये कथोदये मुकुन्दलिङ्गात् नित्यदर्शने दृशो तद्भक्त्या गात्रस्पर्शे सङ्गास्ममं घ्राणं च तत्पादसरोज सौरभे श्रीमत्तुल्यस्य रसनां तदर्पिते पादौ हरे क्षेत्रपदानुसम्पर्णे शिरो ऋषिकेशपदाभिवन्दने कामं च दासेन तु कामकामम्या यथोत्तमश्लोक जनाश्रयारति. I will read the translation for you. Maharaj Ambarish always engaged his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna. His words is describing the glories of the Lord, and his hands in cleansing the Lord's temple, and his ears are in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna. He engages his eyes in seeing the deities of Krishna, Krishna's temple, and Krishna's place like Mathura and Vrindavan. He engaged his senses of touch in touching the bodies of the Lord's devotees. He engaged his senses of smelling in smell of fragrance of tulsi offered to the Lord, and he engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasada. He engaged his legs in walking to the holy places and temples of the Lord, his head in bowing down before the Lord, and all his desires in serving the Lord 24 hours a day. Indeed, Maharaja Ambarish never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses in devotional service in various engagements relate to the Lord. This is the way to increase attachment for the Lord and completely free from the material desires. Now we had the Damodar month, and everybody knows in Damodar Leela also we saw Maya Yashoda was churning butter. But what she was doing while churning, she was engaging all her senses in the service of Krishna. She is singing the pastimes of Krishna's Bal Leelas all. Similarly, we can try ourselves to engage our senses in the service of Krishna, then the real devotional service will start. Srila Prabhupada said devotion means active participation, and that is why he writes devotional service, not the devotion. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much. We will stop here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai. Srila
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. Samved Bhaktan ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari. Bol.
Jai Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Very nice class, Mataji.
Thank you very much for giving me opportunity. Only one day preparation.
Okay, you should sit with some water, Mataji.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining today. And on Monday, there is actually Gita Jayanti. And I'm thinking we can recite on Zoom 18 chapters. So if you are okay with that, we can post the message accordingly, those who wanted to recite. So we'll start at 6 p.m. and by 9 p.m. it will be finished. So every devotee can recite one chapter. So we'll I will post the message in our Hare Krishna coordination group. So Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. We'll see you again on next Friday.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.